What's up, and welcome back to the greatest teacher of all time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel or visit greatesteacherofalltime.com to help me support more great teachers like Miss K. What's up, Miss K? How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being here.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, we were talking a little more in the beginning, and I think you're doing some great things online with your Instagram and your class and everything. But you also just told me you've never been interviewed.
I have never been interviewed. No, so this is new for me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to, dust myself off a little bit. So, yeah, never been interviewed. This is my first interview ever.
Yeah. Well, you deserve it. I'm about to give you your flowers because you've been doing a lot of great things. So, first of all, just reading off your bio, you're a mommy of two. You've been teaching for 10 years. You're a second grade teacher, and you're also an educational consultant. Is that all there?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, I actually took a year off to nurse my youngest daughter, who's 2 right now. And I homeschooled my oldest daughter, who is 8. And during that time, money was rough, like it was a complete shutdown. Nobody's a stranger to that. And so I started a tutoring business. And while I have stopped tutoring just because I'm back in the classroom and times just don't um, allow me to give as much time as I would to my tutories, I still do educational consulting. And so I talk with teachers and parents all the time on how they can improve different skill sets for kids, ECE through fifth in literacy and math. So
Oh man, wow, you are really doing everything, Miss K. That's incredible.
thank you.
Yeah, so I want to get to your actual classroom, your second grade class in a second. But first of all, something huge is happening. You just wrote a book.
Yes. I just wrote a book, and as you can see, I set up a little background back here because I'm super excited. Yeah, I have always been more interested in children's books than adult books, even well after adulthood. So that was kind of my sign that children's literature was where I live and where I should be. And then it's always been a passion of mine to create more opportunities for students of color to be represented. Um, I feel like I am making an impact on such a small scale with my 22 students in my classroom. And so I was like, how can I reach more students without becoming a principal? Because I'm really big on self-care. Without becoming a principal, how can I reach more students of color? And I was like, boom, I'll write a book. And so I have a copy here. It's called Finding Self Love. Just published 3 weeks ago, so it's fresh. Really good story. I'm not just saying that because I'm the author. I'm a little biased, but it's the first children's book that teaches kids about finding self love and just loving who they are while they're in the process of becoming a better them. So
Yeah, I love that. No pun intended. But yeah, this book came out on February 14th, right? So brand new, fresh off the press and everything, right? Where
yes.
where can people get it? Is this something like for bookstores, Amazon? Are you giving it to classrooms directly?
Yeah, so it's actually available on Amazon right now. It's just $14. So check it out. It's a really good read. I have the link in my bio, which is the Creative Classroom on Instagram. And soon, within a couple of weeks, it'll be available on Target, Walmart, all of those things. Not in store, but online.
Man, that is great. That's great. And so just reading the captions, everything you said about the book, it's a book about representation and mental health, an enlightening story following a little girl who stumbles upon the purest love she's ever known, right? So why is that type of story important to you to give to these students?
Well, honestly, I think growing up, my parents were really intentional on giving me everything that I needed as a student, right? They taught me about my ancestors. We were really heavy in church. I went to a Christian private school. I had all of these things, right? But one of the things that I feel like I was missing, um, and of course, there's no perfect parent, so I can't fault them for this. I just don't think it was something that was recognized really in our community. was self-care and self-love, and just the confidence in knowing that who I am won't always be who I have to be, that I can change and grow and evolve. And I am 34 years old, and I have just recently, I can say, embarked on this journey. And I just started thinking, like, how different would my life have been? How many mistakes and choices would I have um, made or not have made, if I had a book that just taught me that, hey, it's okay to love yourself. Like, it doesn't have to be considered selfish. It doesn't have to be considered vain because you love yourself. Like, you can give yourself flowers, and it's okay if you have flaws. It's okay if you have things that are wrong with you. You can still love yourself. And I think that's just something that our kids are missing, is knowing that regardless of their background, their financial status, their family dynamics, all of those things, all of the things that I feel like kids start to they start to carry all of these things as like a part of their own identity. And I think learning that they themselves are able to grow and evolve is just so invaluable. I wish that I would have had it at a younger age.
Yeah, and I actually want to get into that too, because when you think of like mental health and mental health issues, at least the stereotype, right, is that these are issues that high school students or maybe adults come across, right? But you're actually a second grade teacher. So how do you approach mental health and like the awareness and the issues to students who are so young?
Yeah, so second grade I think is really the grade where kids really start to come into themselves and learn a little bit about their own identity. And so I think it's a really great age to start teaching them just mindfulness. Like, we do different things in the classroom, like movement breaks, that I think kids are missing all around the world because we don't give their brain a break. We do like meditation. Sometimes we'll do some doodling, just giving them different tools to help them kind of sort out their feelings. We do journaling. Once a week, I have them do a prompt that says, I wish my teacher knew, just to open up um, I guess, like a judgment free zone where they know, like, you can write this down. You don't have to say it out loud where everyone hears. And sometimes it's something really light, like, I'm getting a new puppy, or I wish my teacher knew my favorite color was purple, or I wish she knew I had candy in my lunch today. It's a really good way to connect, but it also just opens up an opportunity for kids who may have had a rough morning, or maybe they're feeling down on themselves. Maybe they got into a fight with a sibling earlier that morning, or, their parents were fussing at them about not doing something at the right time. And I think it's really easy as humans just to get stuck in our thoughts. And when you don't have the tools to help you kind of sort through those thoughts, or excuse me, someone that you trust to be able to help you share those thoughts, it just becomes these thoughts kind of turn into a permanent feeling about ourselves. And then it's so much harder to unravel that versus having the tools to be able to kind of sort through those feelings ahead of time. So,
Yeah, I definitely hear that. And because you think a second grader, all they have to do is just play, right? But they're actually experiencing these real feelings of things that actually happen to them, you know?
oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, even just the expectation of um, being a kid, like, our society comes with so many expectations. And I think sometimes we forget that kids have their own expectations that are placed on them by their peers, whether it be their clothing. Jordans are a big thing now. So if they have on Jordans, or if they can do the latest TikTok dance, if they have an iPhone, um, if they're on social media, right? Like, some of the things that we didn't even have to deal with as kids, like I had to deal with bullying and, talking about my head being too big or being called four eyes. But these kids just have so much more on them, so many more expectations on them. And I think with expectations, it just falls back into that thing where you start to feel some type of way about yourself because you feel like you're not rising to these expectations that have been created by these other people that you don't even, you're not even associated with. But now you started to attach your worth and your being with your failure to rise to these certain expectations. And so it definitely starts really young. Their hairstyles. I mean, I can keep going. I've heard some crazy stories about why kids have been teased, or, you know, kids coming in from recess crying about certain things. And it really does affect them. It really does affect their mental health in the long run.
Yeah, and that's so interesting how it's like all these new age issues that they worry about, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
not knowing the latest TikTok dance is a reason to get shunned or bullied. Like
Yeah.
that is unbelievable. I was reading something earlier and it was saying that kids who didn't have blue bubbles with their text messages would get bullied because they have an Android phone. It's like
Yep.
that is made up.
Yeah.
Made up
Yeah.
nonsense.
It's a made up expectation. Like, you're not cool if you don't have this, you know? And so, and it's hard. I feel like kids listen to each other more than they listen to adults because they feel like, I don't know, you just listen to your peers more. You feel like they're more valid. You feel like they have, they're more cool. So they have more of a handle on what you're supposed to be doing because they're around your age. So just trying to provide a tool to kind of break some of that up because expectations get hard.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I like how you say you're giving that tool or that outlet to let the teacher know how am I feeling today, what happened, what you should know, right? But I'm also curious, as a second grader, do they have the language to actually express I feel anxiety or I feel depressed or besides happy and sad, right? Do you think they have that?
Yeah, so that's something we start on day one. It helps a lot with their writing, specifically in our SEL work, so our social emotional learning. Our district has done a really good job of like fitting that into our regular curriculum so that teachers don't have to feel rushed. Like they can take either 20 minutes in the morning or they can do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, just to talk with kids about social emotional learning. And that's one of the things that we explore, talking about, you know, there's all these different shades of being mad. Let's put a specific name to this. Are you frustrated? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling disappointed because of something? And so I really encourage them not to use like mad, sad, things like that. I tell them, those are kindergarten words. Let's pull some second grade words out. And we actually have on our word wall, we actually have a list of character traits just to help them kind of name their feelings. We've done different activities like talking about how you might describe yourself on the inside versus the outside, inside character traits versus outside adjectives. And I think starting that back at the very beginning of the year in August really helped them to kind of have some of the language to name how they're feeling. And I don't think it always, what can I say? I don't think it's always the answer because I think sometimes their feelings are more complex and they just need like the time and the space to figure that out on their own. Like they can't even name it. But just having those words and then just having the space for them to be like, I don't even know how I'm feeling right now, and that's okay. And letting them know that's okay. And being transparent when I'm feeling some type of way has helped a lot. So yeah, I think they have the language that they need. Of course, they'll learn and progress as it goes on, but they're like little sponges. So whatever you teach them, they'll take.
Yeah, and maybe touching on that, right? They're sponges, they absorb everything, right? On your Instagram, you post a lot of different books with people of color on it, and it looks like you're always looking for representation and saying how it matters, right? There was also this post you made in December that says, "Why should I wait till February to talk about Black history?" Right?
Yes.
Why is something like that important to you?
I just believe that like when kids see themselves represented in any facet, right? In any um career, it deems it possible for them. It becomes a possibility. It makes them feel like, oh wow, she looks like me. She was once a little Black girl just like me, and she's there, so I can get there too. I think that's a big factor. And then also just understanding who they are and helping them to understand, like, I'm with you. I've been through a lot of the things that you've been through. Um, Little things like understanding when a girl has a bad hair day. You know, it's not easy to just throw our hair in a ponytail and be like, all right, we're ready for recess. Like if you're having a bad hair day, it's a whole deal, right? So like little things like that, I think really help them to be comfortable and be authentically who they are, which I feel like you can't learn if you're not comfortable enough to be authentic. I think that you can't really learn. Your brain is cut off from that. And so representation is so big. In one of my journal prompts where we did I wish my teacher knew, one of my students actually shared with me that I was her first Black teacher, a little Black girl. And she was like, I wish my teacher knew that all of my other teachers were white. And I'm so happy to have a teacher that looks like me. And so I was like, wow, like I don't think in Colorado, in my district alone, only 5% of teachers are of color. And so thinking of how many kids don't have that experience of having a Black teacher, and then having her come in and write that to me was like, woo, like kind of a, we talk about expectations, but it's kind of like a big expectation, because now I'm like, I got to rock it and show her how it's done. But I know that that means so much for her, even the way that she looks at me in the morning, or, when I'm teaching, sometimes I'll see her just like gazing at me and I'm like, man, it really matters. Like everything that I do, she's watching me so close to see who she can become. So
Yeah, man, I can imagine. If I heard something like that, my eyes would fill with water. Like that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
yes.
Yeah. And again, you're doing a lot of great things in your classroom, so many skills, but I can imagine the things you're doing are probably meaningful to all students, right? Not just the second graders, but also like the high school students, or maybe the college students too, right? What's making you stay with second graders in elementary school?
I think honestly, they're just first, I have to be like completely honest. My teaching licensure is only elementary ed, and so I can only go up to fifth grade. I've taught fourth grade before, and I really love fourth grade. They're super cute, and they get my sarcasm, so I love that. Second graders usually it's like it's right over their head. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like second grade is such a pivoting stage where little kids are moving into the stage of being big kids. And so being a part of that and kind of pumping them up and gassing them up and telling them like, you're a big kid now, like you get yourself dressed all the way, like your parents don't have to brush your teeth for you anymore. And then just helping them to own who they are and own the responsibility of being a bigger kid, I think is so special to me, because like we said earlier, there's so many expectations that kids have now. And if they can start to learn in second grade, like, hey, I am who I am and I love who I am. And if you don't love me, that's your bad, but I'm okay. I'm fine just the way I am. I think it will really just help building third, fourth, fifth, just building really strong characters and helping them to be confident in who they are.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I can tell you're doing a lot in your classes and you mean a lot to
Thank
me.
you.
Really, really. But to close this up, thanks to Transcendence Children and Family Services, I actually want to present you with this $100 prepaid gift card.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
okay.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, again, just a way to show you are appreciated.
Thank you so much. That means so much. I really appreciate that. And that's from someone who donated it to you, or?
Yeah, Transcendence Children and Family Services. They just do a lot of different services for children and families.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you guys for doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, of course, of course. And also, because of the great things you're doing in your class, with the support of Victorious RED Restoration, me and them would like to actually sponsor your class with a pizza party.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, they will love that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
writing them with teacher with different points on Class Dojo. Like if you guys reach 500, we can have a pizza party. So they're gonna love that. They just got one for being amazing.
yeah, no, because you're amazing. That's why.
Because I'm amazing. I'll tell them. I'll remind them.
Yep, yep. So yeah, after the cameras go off and everything, I'll get your address, figure out how to get this gift card and those pizzas delivered to your classroom.
Thank you so much. That's so exciting. Thank you.
Yeah, 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 of course. Thank you to everyone else for watching The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And if you really like the video, leave a comment for me and Miss K to see. Also, if you are the greatest teacher of all time, or if you know the greatest teacher of all time, go to greatestteacherofalltime.com and recommend a teacher by clicking on submit a teacher. Hope to see you soon.